Hello, I'm Bishop James A. Williams II, the Senior Pastor of Spirit and Truth Christian Ministries in Detroit and Faith-Based Program Manager for Crime Stoppers of Michigan. That means I preside over a program that we call Project Good Samaritan, a program of compassion, concern, and commitment for individuals whose lives have been upended as a result of crime and violence. Joining me today, Pastor Welton Smith, Senior Pastor of New Life Family Church in Detroit, Pastor Dwayne Logwood, Pastor of First Baptist Church of Belleville, and Pastor George Young, Senior Pastor of New Vision Marketplace in Lakeside Mall. Just a few weeks ago, on October the 1st, all of our lives were rocked with the news that a 6-year-old boy, Tai'rez Moore, had been found with 26-year-old Iris Remsen, his father's girlfriend, killed execution style in their Warren home. The death, the execution style slaying of a 6-year-old boy led to outrage in our community. So much so that Mr. Chris Mathis, known to his fans as Trick, went on Facebook and announced that he was offering a $6,000 reward for anyone that would bring information leading to the arrest of the person or persons responsible for this crime. The next day, Pastor Welton Smith saw that video and something hit his spirit. And as a man of faith, he believed that the faith-based community should also respond. And so he called and agreed to offer a $6,000 reward as part of the Joint Rewards Program of Crime Stoppers of Michigan. We planned a press conference for that Friday. Joining us in that press conference were Pastor Logwood, Pastor Young, and other pastors who also stepped up and added money to the joint reward. We were blessed because the same day we did that press conference, the Warren Police Department was able to apprehend a person who has now been charged with those crimes. However, these pastors decided that they would still make contributions to Crime Stoppers because they realized something that we want to share with you. Of course, the death of Tai'rez Moore was a tragedy that impacted us all. And there are other deaths that have impacted the faith-based community. Pastor Young holds a flyer from Mr. Anthony Tolson, who was murdered in 2015. Anthony was a well-known church musician around the city of Detroit, and when he was killed, hundreds of musicians and pastors came together to ask for help in solving his murder. Just a few weeks ago, Mr. Kelvin Wheeler was killed at the intersection of Livernois and Ewald Circle. Kelvin was a young minister, a son in the ministry to Pastor Stephen Bland of the Liberty Temple Baptist Church, a faithful armor bearer, a faithful servant, doing nothing wrong, just killed because he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Douglas Thornton was killed not long ago. Douglas was the nephew of Pastor Gerald Wheeler of the Elerton Baptist Church. When people are murdered that are in some way attached to the faith-based community, the faith-based community stands up and says we have to do something. But behind us are the pictures of other individuals who have lost their lives to violent crime in the 7 counties that Crime Stoppers of Michigan serves. For their families, every one of them is as significant as Kelvin Wheeler, as Douglas Thornton, as Anthony Tolson, and even as Tai'rez Moore. These pastors realize that, and we just want to talk about why what they're doing is important. Pastor Welton, we kind of start with you because you kind of got this particular ball rolling.
The Bible says that there's going to come a day where people going to grow cold, man.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be lovers of themselves to the place that evil will be normal. If the men and women of God don't do something about it to reestablish a kingdom culture. And I think that's the opportunity that we have. Opportunity is always wrapped in opposition. It's up to you to look beyond the opposition and identify the opportunity. And when I saw Trick, Chris Mathis on the television, man, that bothered me because I saw the street respond. It hit me in my chest, man. And I'm not saying that what I did was because of what anybody else isn't doing. Sometimes it's about what God's telling you to do. I didn't call nobody and say, man, this is what we got to do. Right. No, this is what the Lord told me to do. You want to get in on it?
Exactly. It was a need that needed to be met.
It's not about credit. It's not about who getting the glory.
Right.
Some people only get behind something if they get in front of it.
Yeah.
Right.
When the truth is, this is an hour where the kingdom has to identify the need and meet it. The truth is, this case is closed, but the problem isn't solved.
The problem
Right.
isn't solved.
When we look at that, that's what the Crime Stoppers faith-based initiative is to do. We're supposed to go beyond the walls. So when something hit us, it should hurt all of us.
My God.
Because it has to be more than hooping and preaching. It has to be more than, dancing and shouting.
All of these people and the hundreds of unsolved cases that we're working on, their blood is crying out from the ground.
Yes, sir.
Pastor Logwood, what made you step up and respond to this need and this call at this time?
It affects us, our reality as a father and as pastors, and I feel it was an opportunity for us to band together and really be that lifeline that God is calling for us to be in this season where we're outside the four walls. It's so much bigger. If we didn't learn anything through this pandemic, that ministry is far greater than the building, it's far greater than the four walls of the church, but it's magnified in what we do in the community. So I believe this was a great opportunity for the world to see us unite as a front together that is bigger than one individual, is bigger than the church building, is bigger than the name of our church. It's bigger than the name that come after the pastor, but it's about us going out to the community, banding together, and showing a world that we stand together, that we're not divided, and that we can make an impact into our community.
An impact into our community. Of course, one of the things that's so hard for us at Crime Stoppers to convey is all of the work that we do. Certainly, we offer the joint rewards. We put up posters and flyers and billboards and do the press conferences that people are aware of. But we also have our family outreach, where we bring families that have been victimized together. We bring in psychologists and psychiatrists and motivational speakers and other mothers and fathers who have lost children and clinical workers to try to help them cope with that pain. Every year in May, I sponsor, as part of our faith-based program, something called Roses on the River. We go out to Belle Isle and we go there. All of our families come. Last year we had over 150 family members, in addition to members of the faith-based community, representatives of the Detroit Police Department and others. And we march from the Strip to the edge of Sunset Point. We give all of them rose petals on the edge of the Detroit River while we have a prayer of healing, and they cast their roses out on the Detroit River in memory of their loved ones. The first time I did it, I said, I think this will be good for our families. When we got to that river and we saw the power and the impact that had for those families. Every time I talk about it, I get chills, because every year it becomes more and more impactful. But these are the kinds of things that we do on a weekly basis. We have marched with Bishop Corey Chavis and the Detroit Community Clergy Alliance for 9 years. Bishop Darrell Harris and the Ceasefire Program. We've been there with them. The church is here. We need to do more. Gentlemen, in your own words, what would you say to other pastors, to other churches, to people that you may have influence over, to people who may have never seen you before, but what would you say to them to encourage them to do what you're doing, which is stepping up and partnering with Crime Stoppers to help us not only bring killers to justice, but to bring some sense of peace and healing to those families? I don't like to talk about closure because I've had that kind of death in my own family. You never really get closure, but you can get justice and you can get comfort.
Well, I would just say that it's imperative for pastors in the community to get involved, especially with Crime Stoppers, because it shows that we care about those who lose loved ones. So I think that's what we're supposed to do. I believe we're supposed to go out there and we're supposed to make sure that we show the love of Christ as pastors to our community, to let them know they're not in this by themselves.
I understand what Crime Stoppers is doing. They can't do it by themselves, man, and that's why we're here. We as a community, when devastation and evil happens, our response has to be more than church. It has to be like Acts 2, demonstration.
I know there's so much that we are pulled on to support, but I just believe Crime Stoppers is one of those organizations that we should invest in because as a collective body, because it's making a difference in the lives of people that we can touch indirectly. Because if you really be honest, at any point, it could be one of your loved ones on this wall. At any point, it could be one of your church members. And you would want the support and the assistance of such an organization, of a program such as Crime Stoppers. So I just believe, it's imperative and paramount that you support such a cause as this. Everything I don't support, everything I don't put my name behind, everything I don't show up to. But I think this is something that every pastor, every woman of God, every man of God should step behind and say, what can I do to support? What can I do to help? And I believe if we do that jointly, I believe we can make a great impact in such a cause as Crime Stoppers.
So beyond this case, Crime Stoppers of Michigan serves 7 counties in southeast Michigan. Black, white, rich, poor. 7 counties. Crime and violence is ravaging all 7 counties. At a time where Crime Stoppers needs more financial resources than ever before, our contributions from the corporate community is waning. Without the support of individuals and the faith-based community, this work can't go on. These rewards are not paid from some anonymous pot of money that falls down out of heaven. These rewards are the results of contributions of corporations, individuals, and we pray the faith-based community. We need your support. You can go to our website at 1-800-SPEAK-UP.org. That's 1-800-SPEAK-UP.org. There's information there that is specifically geared to the faith-based community. You can be a supporter of Crime Stoppers for as little as $5 a month. Become a member of our $5 a month club. Or there's information there on how the faith-based community can partner with us. As a result of this response from these pastors and others, we have created a whole different program of support for the faith-based community. That information is there on the website. If you don't want to go to the website, you can call me directly. The number is 313-922-5000. That's area code 313-922-5000, extension 120. Again, I'm Bishop James A. Williams. I can answer any questions that you have. You can also reach us by email, james@michiganalliance.org. Everyone doesn't have $6,000. Everyone doesn't have $500 or $1,000. Some of the contributions that came in for the joint reward for Tai'rez, they started at $50. All of it is significant. None of it is too little. Everybody cannot do everything, but everybody can do something.